Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? Travis and Susie here, back with another reaction video for you. We got this link right there. You can find that link in the description box if you want to request your own personal reaction video. Today's video is brought to you by Brian, bringing us We Built a Tiny School Bus for Our Schoolhouse.
That, just so you know, I don't know what this is about to be, okay? But that sounds dreamy to me, because if I had things my way, we would live on a sizable property and we would have our own schoolhouse with all the school stuff in the schoolhouse, you know?
But you also wanted to do the traveling in school at the same time.
I would love that too. Road schooling, it's called. Anyways, but like there's a lot of work, like having a homestead with animals and chickens and gardens and such is also a different kind of work. But I love the idea of that nonetheless.
Yeah.
But you know, a girl can dream. Anyways, Brian says, "Hi, Susie and Travis." Hi, Brian.
Hi, Brian. It's been a little while. Hope you're doing well.
I hope we're having coffee together, or maybe you're having a whiskey. I'm having a coffee. I'm
having electrolytes.
Yes. We've been watching our figure over here. So.
Yeah, I recently started doing like a carnivore diet with a little flexibility with like an avocado or something like that. And it's working tremendously.
Yeah, we feel healthier. We feel more alive. So that's good. Yeah. That's the goal, right? To feel good and have energy and be well. All right. Anyways, Brian continues. Hi, Travis and Susie. Here's part 6 of umpteen of what does Brian watch to try to relax. Brian, I love these because I have basically taken whatever you've given us and we now relax to it too. So thank you. I really enjoy the Schoolhouse Homestead from Franklin, Indiana. And if they ever turn it into a bed and breakfast, my wife and I are there. Check out the creativity with what they did with a golf cart to help with yard work. I hope you enjoy part 7 of my umpteen part series is coming soon. Get ready, Brian. Oh, I can't wait. I love that country life vlog that you sent us before with the
So we live in this school.
Yeah.
Oops. Okay.
With the people who make food. Remember that one? That was awesome.
Susie watches that all the time.
I do. I watch that video.
And then I get sucked in.
When the guys like on the mountains like collecting plants because his wife was like, "Get out of my hair." I'm just kidding. She probably didn't do that, but maybe she did.
Which also led to Susie buying me one of the knives.
That was a different channel, though.
It was a different channel, but that led it. It was the spiral into that.
Yes, it was because of that
world.
That we found men with a pot, not pot. Man. Anyways.
Okay.
So we live in this school.
Yes.
And I got to thinking, should we build ourselves a tiny school bus?
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So ever since buying this school,
Let's be friends.
we knew we needed to get ourselves a bus, but not just any bus, a tiny school bus. And we've got to make it out of a golf cart. My parents have a little golf cart that they use for yard chores, gardening, picking up sticks.
I would love a golf
and if you've
cart.
been here a while, you know that we love adding and making up tiny little school-themed details for our schoolhouse. From artwork to maps to mosaics to a made-up crest, track club, and a chokey room.
No,
So
we have the chokey.
What's a chokey room?
What? Well, I guess that makes sense that you wouldn't know. You're probably a little. Anyways, the movie Matilda, when the kids are bad, Miss Trunchbull sticks them in the chokey, which is a janitor's closet in the basement, but there's like nails through the walls, and so like they can't move.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways.
That's sick.
Yeah, it is sick.
Today's video, we're
cool to
building
have
a
in your
Union
house.
Joint Graded School number 9 tiny bus, start to finish. A couple weeks ago, I went with Arlo and my dad to the Ted Everett auction in Monrovia, Indiana. 4 times a year, they have a big auction, and somehow there are hundreds of golf carts ready to graduate into their next career.
That's a
That's a big loader. Yeah.
That is a little kid's dream.
The goal of the day was to get a nice little retired electric golf cart to turn into our bus. Golf carts have exploded in price over the last few years, but it's auctions like this where you can get the good deals. And I'd say most of the people here on auction day were actually resellers coming to buy some inventory to resell elsewhere. But we just wanted one. So first we had to sit through the sale of about 200 gas golf carts, and Arlo did get his heart set on a different piece of equipment. Arlo,
Mom,
look at
we
me.
need this.
You like that?
Stop.
I'll
Sorry,
take it.
bud. And then finally it was time to bid, which really was a thrill. And I was getting nervous here, and you can see my dad telling me, "Bid, Stacy, bid." And then we got one.
I want to know how much.
Thank you. All right, 21.
Meet our electric 2021 Club Car Tempo. We're going to call her Ms. G, after the loveliest school bus driver that Sean and I both had in middle school. And after we bought her, it was time to bring her back to the schoolhouse home and start turning her into our little yard chore school bus. Now, before I get to the tiny school bus building portion of this video, in the spirit of making yard work easier, I want to share with you the sponsor of today's video, Sunday. Since we bought the school, our yard has gone through quite the transformation. Last summer, our yard was a gigantic dirt pit after all that excavation. And then we had to plant grass. I've got big plans for pollinator gardens in a huge section of the yard, and we've been planting a bunch of native trees. But first, we need to get some baby grass growing so that we don't have this mud pit. Sunday makes lawn care really easy by sending a custom lawn plan for your yard that gets shipped right to your door. You just enter your address on their website, and they generate a custom lawn plan for you based on soil tests and climate data.
I wonder why they
is
chose
do
the
some soil tests, and we get to send it off to a lab, and then they tell us what our yard
golf
needs.
cart over like a
Sunday uses
four-wheeler.
simple ingredients you can pronounce, like nitrogen, potash, sulfur, and calcium, that are friendly
with
for
either
people,
of them, you
pets,
can have a
and the
trailer,
planet.
though,
In my
right?
box, I've got some
Like a little
dandelion,
trailer?
dude,
Yeah.
But I think
definitely
it's
a
more
good
common to
candidate
see
for
on a
this.
four-wheeler or
2
a
kinds of
trailer.
fertilizer, some pet patch, some bear repair
But I
for
think
pimp
it's really an
spots,
idea.
and an electric sprayer.
Maybe it's
Sunday has
because
easy
more than
application
one
schedules
person
and
can
step-by-step
sit in the golf
instructions
cart.
on your account. Whether you're a new yard
Like,
person like me trying to get grass to grow,
four-
or you're
look,
actually good
I
at lawn
didn't
care and you
notice
just
how
want to
many
take it to the
seats
next
this one
level,
had.
Sunday takes all the guesswork out of it. If you're looking for an easy, stress-free way to get a greener yard, go to getsunday.com/schoolhouse and use code schoolhouse30 for 30% off your first custom lawn plan. Now, back to building our tiny school bus.
Only seats
And this
two
process
people.
did not come with an instruction manual. Since this is going to be a worker bus, job number 1 was building a little flatbed for stuff we needed to haul. Stuff like tools, sticks, dirt. We've already used it as a ladder. And while my goal was definitely to make it as adorable as possible, I did allow for practicality, as this old girl's got some serious jobs to do. First stop, my dad's house. Because when you need random pieces of metal for a project like this, there's no better place than your dad's stash of future project materials. This particular chunk of metal that we use for our golf cart flatbed is actually a piece of stage from the high school where my grandpa was principal.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
The other half of this very same stage is now the bed of my parents' chore golf cart, which is a pretty impressive career for an old beat-up show choir stage. Sean and my dad tackled this part together, filming included, which meant, naturally, some key cinematic moments were missed in my absence. Like when my dad karate chopped the metal apart after cutting it, and we got none of it on camera. His response was, "Progress doesn't wait for videos." So then we hauled everything back to the schoolhouse to start installing on our golf cart. This was very much a figure it out as we go kind of build. So step 1, place the bed on the cart. Immediate realization, we had to remove the little golf basket first. Farewell, tiny golf basket. You tried your best. Next came the challenge of securing the Frankenstein metal bed to the frame in a way that wouldn't fall apart the first time we hit a bump. And for this whole thing, we used entirely salvaged materials, including wood that we literally pulled out of our
love that they do
construction
that.
dumpster. After some trial and error, we got the base secured. Then came the reinforcement braces, courtesy of some galvanized pipe and one of my dad's signature construction techniques, banging things until they work, which is surprisingly effective for this one. While Sean finished up the structural stuff, I started staining the wood, I peeled off the old decals, and then gave the whole thing a nice sanding so she'd be ready to paint.
I've seen people drive golf carts with like huge wheels on it.
Really? I love that these guys just
Wow, they're really good.
teamwork it. Like they just like they get inspired to do something and they just go for it together. It's really
It's a
cool.
really clean job they're doing.
At this point, our managers woke up from their mid-afternoon snooze to inspect our progress.
What does it look like?
I'm a cricket.
And then it was time to work on the decals. Enter the cricket. This little machine never fails to amaze me. I've used it for everything from schoolhouse shirts to putting the kids' names on their doors like they're tiny tenured professors. And I know it gets labeled as a crafty mom tool, but honestly, it's amazing and weirdly hypnotic to watch.
Looks great.
Wait.
School bus. Isn't that awesome?
Looks sharp.
What do you think?
I guess if you had a four-wheeler, it wouldn't be a tiny yellow school bus.
That's true. Line number 9, I wonder.
Once the decals were on, we just needed a few finishing touches. A stop sign and some lights.
That is awesome.
That's
What cool parents.
great. Feeling inspired.
Yeah, we feel inspired till we started sanding that day. And then we feel like,
What were we thinking?
What have
And
we
she's
done?
done. Ms. G, the Union Joint school bus, is officially clocked in and working overtime.
oh, I love
She's already been
that.
hauling her weight around here, literally, helping us with yard chores like mulch, picking up so many sticks, and building the kids' new playground from Cedarworks. I'm really excited to talk about this one more in an upcoming video. With all the outdoor projects we've got going on this year to turn this place into a magical backyard wonderland, it turns out having a tiny yellow school bus as your tool hauler is weirdly perfect. It is way more efficient than my previous wheelbarrow system. The goal is to turn this yard into equal parts bird and pollinator sanctuary, kids zone, garden, and generally a fun place to hang out. It's come a long way, but we've got a long way to go. Last week, I actually picked up some native redbud trees from Costco, of all places, and Ms. G made the planting process so much easier. All in all, the Tiny School Bus Project report card gets an A+ in my book. She's quirky, she's practical, and honestly, anything that helps us make a dent in the massive schoolhouse to-do list is a win in my book. So on the inside of the schoolhouse, there haven't been a ton of updates. Most of our energy has been in the yard
Magical.
cleanup mode, building the playground, and building the tiny bus. But we do have an update in the kitchen in this corner over here. And
Oh, I love that
we have a
countertop.
new couch and a rug. Previously, it was super hodgepodge over here, and still we are not done. We still need to fix the windows and trim them out. And yeah, this little table.
I just love this idea of being able to have like a tiny living room in my kitchen, but that's not my living room. Like, so, I mean, we have like an open floor plan in our home that we live in now, and there are nice things about that, but like, it would be cool to have a small living room in your kitchen area and then have a totally different living room, family room space. I love this space.
Right here. So this actually came from a library card catalog.
Yeah.
And last summer,
Love
I got
that.
these Barrister bookcases off of Facebook Marketplace. And the guy who was selling me those, he had some super broken library card cabinets. And I was like, hey, would you be willing to sell these to me? And they were super broken. They were super beat up. The veneer was all broken. So last summer, I refinished the whole this section. We added some legs, and then we added a tabletop that is made out of a chalkboard from Odin High School in Odin, Indiana. And now we have this little table. Then when we do have some rainy days, I'm going to start working on a big painting for back here of a pawpaw. I'm going to tie in the yellow of the couch with the blue-green of the kitchen island and make a big painting to go over here. I actually had the kids start to help me a few weeks back. Beyond that, what we're going to do, we also have a plan to build some shelves and some little side shelves on each of the sides of the couch. Kind of like to make this couch feel a bit more like a built-in, kind of like a 1970s conversation pit. And yeah, just mostly just glad that this section of our most used room is starting to come together.
I love the brick.
And start to feel a little bit less hodgepodge, step by step, and start to feel more purposeful and
I would love
still have
this space.
a lot of little stories.
Can we move into a school?
And then out on the deck, the Polywood furniture still going strong, and you can kind of see some of the work that I was referencing using Miss G that we've been doing so far. Working on mulching this area just to have like pathways and kind of do a temporary thing until we get into more sophisticated landscaping, but that's just not going to be this year. Back here, working on some raised garden beds and kind of putting an arch here. This is the cupola that came from the roof of the schoolhouse. Kind of gonna build another little bed around it and make kind of a little garden sculpture.
Cool.
But yeah, the yard, the play set back there, it's coming along. So that's it for this episode's update on the schoolhouse.
Wow.
As always, if there's something you'd like me to talk about in future, just leave it in the comments and I'll try to add it to the queue. Until next time, thanks for tagging along on this weird and wonderful journey of turning this 100-year-old school into our home.
Thank you so much for that, Brian. Thank you guys for hanging out. If you enjoyed hanging out, like and subscribe. Check out this link below in the description box to request your own reaction video. Stay tuned. Stay positive.
We love you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
I just wanna pay my bills.